time you're in Dollar Tree looking for some amazing glassware to do some DIYs to, grab yourself 2 of these joints right here. And while you're at it, pick one of these up. And since we're splurging, grab one of these too. The cool thing about these candle holders is that they have a very similar look and different heights. So when we place these little floral pieces right on the top, it's going to give them a very similar look, helping them to create a set. You can obviously hand paint this if you want to. I've been in a spray painting mood, people, so I wanted to use some of this Coastal Sage in the matte. I'm loving this color as well, to give these a nice coat. And since the floral piece had a lot of little bits that were kind of separate, I decided to wait to attach the pieces until after they were spray painted. For the attachment, I'm going to use my favorite Gorilla Glue gel. People, use whatever glue you feel works best on glass. This just works best for me, and that's why I chose to use this. You can absolutely seal over this, use some Rust-Oleum spray paint in the matte, and people, I'm absolutely loving this color right now. What do you think? I was inspired by this piece I seen online at Kohl's, and I'm thinking to myself, I think we can recreate this using these bottles at Dollar Tree. But before we get to the hand painting part, we're going to need to put in a little bit of prep work and clean the bottle. I cleaned this just with some alcohol, and once it was dry, I grabbed my frosted glass spray paint that I had on hand. Use whichever spray paint you would like, and then give it a nice coat. As you can see, I didn't go too heavy on the bottom because we have to tint it going up. But the top is beautiful, and I am happy with that. You can do as many coats as you like. I just did one. For the translucent blend, I'm going to take some of this Dragonfly glaze I picked up from Hobby Lobby and mix it with a little bit of blue acrylic paint. You can do this several different ways. This is just one that I'm sharing today. And I also want to mention that if you use a chalk paint, it's going to give you more of a solid coverage. Mixing it in with this glaze, the acrylic will be more translucent. I don't want to see any brush strokes on this, so a way to avoid that is by getting a pouncer and gently tappity tap 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 in all over your piece. Now this is going to take several coats because it is extremely translucent, but I know that using a pouncer is going to give me a nice even coat from the start, not having to deal with fixing any brush strokes on my glass. And in case you're wondering, I put 3 coats on this joint, okay? While it's drying, I grabbed myself a little white, I guess this piece of cardboard I kind of had laying around, to do a rough sketch. Since I'm using my phone to record, I can't necessarily keep looking at the picture, so having a rough sketch right in front of me like this, at least kind of how I want the branches, is going to help me go along with painting. Even though we have like a layer over our glass, I'm making sure to use paints that work well with glass, like multi-surface and chalk. And the acrylics you see me have here, even though they don't work necessarily well with glass, if you mix them with the chalk or you mix them with a multi-surface, they will tint and you will still have good adhesion onto that material. I'm going to use some of this black ink paint to mix with some brown acrylic because I didn't have any chalk or multi-surface in a dark brown. This is going to be our base for the branches. I could not have been happier with how this blue color turned out on the bottom of this glass. It's got like a nice metallic glow going on with it. I found one of the smallest round brushes that I had in my stash and did a couple paint strokes to test over on the side. If you look at the white little paper or white cardboard sitting there, and then I just tried to use my little sketch that I had there, not necessarily as an exact picture for me to copy, but kind of just a guide as how I want it to place the branches. And this is all going to be really sped up, but it took me about an hour and a half to completely paint this glass bottle. For our flower petals, I'm going to use some of this multi-surface paint and some of this brown acrylic paint. One thing I really like to do is to blend two colors together whenever I'm painting something, like intermingling the two. This kind of gives you a really cool transition between one section of the piece of art that you're creating into another. So as you're doing different strokes, it kind of gives its own individuality of each section. I hope that makes sense. So here we're creating petals. So each petal will have its own unique color variation, helping it to look a little bit more realistic. And to be able to create petals using a larger round brush and pressing down and pulling inward with each stroke will give you this appearance. When you're happy with your floral placements, go ahead and let that dry before moving on to the next part. On the Kohl's piece, there were little buds. So I want to recreate that in certain sections as well, just to try to keep it as close to the original as I can. And to do that, I'm just blending the two colors and doing one stroke, starting with the tip of the round brush away from where the branch is and pulling it inward. To tie those little buds into the branch, I'm taking some more of our black and brown mixture and then kind of drawing around the buds and then pulling it into the branch. You can finish up the center of your flowers however you want. There's so many different ways to be able to do that. I'm just using a dotting tool with some yellow chalk paint and just tappity tap tap tapping right on the center of that flower. Well, each one of the little flowers. When I was happy with that, I then took some more of that black and brown mixture and tapped little dots on the inside and came back in with some white and some of that light brown along the branch bits and created some highlights. If you want to seal over this, go right ahead, use whatever sealer you feel works best. I will probably wait until this is fully dry the next day and grab some clear Rust-Oleum in the mat and give it a nice spray over. At my local Dollar Tree, they currently have the new dishware pieces out. Absolutely love the designs on these plates. And people, have you seen these new candle holders? I had to grab a couple for my stash. I absolutely love these. Got lots of ideas for them. But today we're gonna need a small plate, a large plate, and one of the candle holders so we can create a very simple and high-end tiered tray with these. What I love most about this particular idea is you literally don't have to paint or spray paint anything. You just need some glue and the idea itself is absolutely stunning. For our attachment, I'm choosing to use Gorilla Glue Gel. By all means, use your E6000, whatever works best for you. But keep in mind, there is a dent in this joint. So you're going to want to put that glue right around the edges and then allow this to dry before you put anything on it. Wanted to film it while it was drying just so you could see how beautiful and elegant this is all on its own. And then for staging purposes for you at home, I just decided to put a couple little candles and little floral bits on the top and on the bottom. I need the popular opinion in the comments, people. Do you consider mirrors glassware? Because I do, okay? I need to know. Let me know. Do you feel like it's glassware? Because sometimes I got mirror ideas and I don't know where to put them. For this particular idea, we're going to need to also grab some of these little ceramic animals from Dollar Tree. Well, this was the only one I could find today, but normally when I'm out and about and not worried about it, I find a couple of these pieces. But the elephant is my favorite, so I was really glad I came across this one. But we're not going to leave it like that. We're going to take some of this Rust-Oleum in the French blue color. It is a satin finish, so it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, and give it a nice coat. You can absolutely take some Rust-Oleum clear in the matte or satin, gloss, whatever you want to finish this up with, and give it a nice seal over. Look how beautiful this is and elegant, just sitting on top of that little mirror. For this decorative storage space idea, you're going to need to grab 2 of the smaller mason jars from Dollar Tree and 1 of these baskets. I'm really into the Dollar Tree baskets right now. Then do yourself a favor and take a minute to put both of these mason jars inside your baskets. You're going to notice that it's a little snug. The reason why I tell you to take a minute doing that is so you can figure out the size that you want to press this basket out to fit in your mason jars. Lucky for us, these baskets are pretty manipulatable. So I decided to continue to put them in and then move the basket around and create a shape that I thought would look best for this decor piece. I also decided to kind of push the basket down a little bit more, so this way the jars stood out over top of the basket. I took the center of the metal pieces out and just kept the little rings. Now, you don't have to do this part if you want to just leave your mason jars as they are. You go right ahead, but I wanted to add a little bit of color, so I took some of this ink chalk paint by Waverly and gave these a nice coat. I ended up putting 3 coats on here for good coverage, and if you want to plop a sealer on here, go ahead and put a little layer of Mod Podge over it. Absolutely won't hurt. I really just wanted to add the black on here for a little bit of color to match our basket, but you don't have to put anything on your mason jars at all. You can really do a lot with this little idea. I decided that I was going to put them in the bathroom with a little bit of greenery because it matched some of the accents that were already in the bathroom to use to hold some toothbrushes and some cotton balls. If you're looking for more Dollar Tree inspiration, check this video out right here. These basket decor ideas will wow you. As always, people, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today, and until next time.